Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and it is that time of year. Happy New Year's Eve to every single one of you. And this time of year, we always take a look back on what came out, what was good, what was bad. And this video started out as a top 10 comics of 2020. It ended up with a little bit more, but I definitely think I added and did the best to my ability. Now, I noticed as I was going through the books of the year, I definitely gravitate towards certain creators, specifically James Tynion and Tom Taylor. I think they are going to absolutely explode this year. But this is a longer one, so let's get right into it. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, hit like. Let me know your top picks in the comments below for the books you enjoyed or simply didn't enjoy. We're going to go over that a little bit later. But for number 20, I have DCs Dead Planet by Tom Taylor and Trevor Hairsine. Now, this was really good. Honestly, DCs has been very, very consistently good. I actually have another DCs title on here. It's been so well done. I love the way that they're framing things, making it very different than Marvel Zombies, but really great in its own way. So at 19, I have Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity by Cami Garcia, Miko Swan, and Mike Mayhew. Now, I really am enjoying this book. I think Cami Garcia is doing a really good job. The reason it is so high on this list is because of the pace that it has came out. It feels like it's been 2 years since number 1 came out, and we still don't have any sort of finish yet, and it's very slow going. It is a slow burn. There is not a whole lot that we've even realized that has happened yet. And unfortunately, that kind of is to its detriment. So for number 18, I have Hellblazer Rise and Fall by Tom Taylor and Derek Robertson. Now, this book is really good. There's only a couple out right now. That's why it's so high. But I think there's only 2, to be honest with you. It's that good. It is Constantine done correctly and really spotlight on the character and a good fresh start. If you need a jumping on point, this is definitely where you go for Hellblazer, right? So 17, some people may disagree with me on this one here. I have 3 Jokers by Jeff Johns, Jason Fabok, and Brad Anderson. Now, I did a whole entire video on this. I did review it, but I also did kind of a rant style video. It didn't give us the answers that I was hoping for. It didn't give us really any sort of answers as to the 3 Jokers, and it really kind of messed with continuity as far as the Mobius chair goes. The reason it actually made this list has nothing to do with Joker. The reason it made this list is because of what it did with Jason Todd. And it gave him really some clarity. It let him face his demons and come out on the other side. So I think I wouldn't have included this if it wasn't for the Jason Todd subplot. So for number 16, I have Batman White Knight Presents Harley Quinn by Katana Collins, Sean Gordon Murphy, Matteo Scalera, and Dave Stewart. Now, this is only a couple issues in also, and it is slow, it is good. I love seeing Harley front and center. She is one of my favorite characters, but the reason why I really wanted to include this is because we now have Harley Quinn as a standalone character in the White Knight Murphyverse, and with her own villains. They're not Batman villains, they are her villains, and I think that's really important to distinguish the character from Batman, and they do a really good job at that. So for number 15, I have Crossover by Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw. Now, we are only a couple issues into this one also, and I'm already picking through it. I'm already looking for the clues as to who will be coming, if it's Spawn or if it's the Turtles, if it has something to do with Star Wars. And that's why I love this book. It's a really neat concept. It's definitely something worth looking into. I think we're 2 issues in, I want to say. And Donny Cates is a fantastic writer. I know his Venom stuff is really good, but you won't see that on my list. I love this book. It's definitely worth checking out. Number 14, I have Injustice Year Zero by Tom Taylor, and I absolutely love this book. Injustice is and always will be my favorite Elseworld stories. There was a while there where I actually wasn't reading comics. I was kind of a couple years where I was kind of down and depressed, and Injustice really brought me back into it, and I absolutely love that we get to see a prequel to the original Injustice storyline. Plus, you know, you can't go wrong with the video games, right? So for 13, I have Challenge of the Super Sons by Peter J. Tomasi and George Jimenez. Absolutely beautiful art, very manga style art, right? George's art is absolutely stunning. Or Jorge, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which one it is, so I do apologize. But Super Sons are always great. They are amazing characters. We are 3 issues in. We've seen them save Wonder Woman and Flash, and now we're getting that buddy comedy that I love so much about Super Sons. They're absolutely adorable. And Jonathan's not aged up. So I really, really am enjoying it. 12. Now this one might surprise a few people, but if you're not checking it out, I definitely think you should. This is Sweet Tooth, The Return. And we are also only 2 issues in with this one. It is by Jeff Lemire and Jose Villabuena, and it is absolutely amazing. Now, if you haven't read this first Sweet Tooth collection, I do suggest it, but you don't have to. It is a good story about not a superhero. It's not a superhero. It's a boy with horns, and it's very, very different, but it keeps you. I really do, and always have, enjoyed Jeff Lemire's writing, and he does a really great job with this. So for number 11, I have Batman Superman Annual Number 1 by Joshua Williamson and Gleb Mekhanov. Now, in this list, I included basically anything that came out this year, whether it was complete storylines or single issues, because I wanted to include this issue. Joshua Williamson made the most adorable story, and I do have a review of this story, and it was so well done. It was the best of Batman Superman all year, and it was Mixel and some of the imps messing around, Batmite, right? And it was adorable. It was playing with toys, and it was fun, and it was silly, and it was something you could give to your niece or nephew or daughter or son, and you could read it yourself. That's why I love it so much. So let's start our top 10 countdown, right? Now, for number 10, I have something that just wrapped up, which was Endless Winter by Ron Mars, Alex Lanning, and Howard Porter. Or is it Andy Lanning and Howard Porter? Now, Endless Winter was really good. It did introduce us to one character that we will be seeing post-Future State in the Teen Titans Academy. I don't remember her name right offhand, but we get the story of the Frost King, and it brings in characters that you don't necessarily always see, which is Hippolyta and Black Adam, and we see just exactly how they take the Frost King down. I don't want to ruin it because it just came out. The end of it just came out. Number 9. I have another deceased title. Now, the reason this one is so much higher is because I really fell in love with Hope at World's End storyline. It is by Tom Taylor and Dustin Nguyen, and it has wrapped up. It is completely done, and we get to see the entirety of what happened in between Dead Planet and Deceased, and we get to see what they had to do, who they had to sacrifice, who died, and we get to see the transformation of Jonathan into Superman and Damian into Batman, and it's awesome. It's a really great read. So, number 8, I have Suicide Squad by Tom Taylor. Oh boy, see? I stick with my creators. By Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. Now, this is also something that was finished in one of the most tragic things that happened in comics this year. So, spoilers. At the end, we see the death of Deadshot, and it's his last thing, and we see his daughter, and it's heart-wrenching. It's a beautiful story, and we get really great new characters I'm in love with, which is Wink and Airy. I really hope because of this title, and I've been pushing it the entire time I've been reading it, is we get a Revolutionaries title. I would love to see these characters back again, even if it's a backup story. I just want more Revolutionaries, and that says a lot, right? So for number 7, I have the Joker War. Now this includes Batman 95 through 100, Batgirl 47, Detective Comics 1025, Red Hood 48, Nightwing 74, The Joker War Zone number 1, plus a few stories from Harley Quinn 75 and Catwoman 25. That was a mouthful. Now, this is James Tynion and George Jimenez. Now, some of the side stories are by other people like Cecil Castellucci, Tomasi, Labdell, Ram V, Jurgens. These are the side stories, but the main part of this is by James Tynion. And after we saw Tom King kind of emasculate and absolutely ruin Batman, we had this takeover of James Tynion, and it was beautiful. Their dark designs came in and it was amazing. And then Joker War hit, and it was something we hadn't seen in so long. And the best part about Joker War is it has consequences. There was consequences. It wasn't just, it's over, let's go back to our status quo. No, there was a change up. And that is another tragic thing that happened to Batman this year. He's kind of broke. He's still rich compared to me. So, yeah. I absolutely love Joker War. A must read this year. So, number 6 is Punchline number 1 by James Tynion, Sam Johns, and Marika Andolfo. Now, I didn't know whether I should put this so high on my list because it was just a one-shot. But I did really enjoy getting to know the brand new character of Punchline. She's already one of my favorite characters along with Clown Hunter. I mean, everything right now that James Tynion touches that's Batman is gold. Is absolutely gold, whether it's Punchline, Ghostmaker, or it is Clown Hunter. I love them all. But this, bringing back Harper Row, bringing back her brother, showing us how manipulative Punchline is, really, really got me interested. I absolutely loved that one shot. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This was so hard to pick. I'm not even kidding. So, number 5, I kind of included a bigger amount of books. And I'm talking about just all of the tales from the Dark Multiverse, right? A lot of them had Scott Snyder on. We got to see my favorite one, which was Hush, was by the new Superman writer, who is Philip Kennedy Johnson. Then we had Dexter Soy, and there was so much great talent on these books, and it was the first book I had ever seen by Vita Ayla that I, besides an Ivy story she did, that I truly enjoyed, and it was amazing. Her Wonder Woman one. Every single one of these has been absolutely amazing, and the most recent one, you have to read it. It is metal, and there's a little twist at the end. I'm not going to talk about it here, but at least we know he's alive. Okay, that's all I'm going to give away. So, number 4 is something I've talked about quite often on this channel, right? Victor and Nora graphic novel by Lauren Miracle and Isaac Goodhart. Beautiful, beautiful story. There's been a long time in DC where there's been no wedding rules, right? There's been no happy couples, none. And we just got that broken with Aquaman and Miro when they got married. But this is a title that is in continuity, so they could do what they wanted. This story I reviewed. This story was beautiful. And this is a YA graphic novel. This, DC, is how you get the young readers interested, because I can't tell you how many times I cried during this story. It was a beautiful, romantic, tragic novel. You have to check it out. Even if you don't like the YAs, this is the one, if you're ever going to give it a chance, you need to look at. So, number 3, Death Metal. Now, this has one more issue. We have the wrap-up that comes out in January, but I still wanted to include it even though it wasn't entirely done. It is by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. This has been so good. Wonder Woman is always going to be one of my favorite characters, and putting her front and center makes absolutely so much sense. And then we see things on the side. like the if you go to the DC website, they have different what would you call them, animations done to kind of give this story the TLDR for people that aren't reading it. And it's voiced by people like Andy Biersack is Batman from Black Veil Brides. I love that. It's all this depth. You've got the Baywatch guy, I can't think of his name, with Superman. I love it. I absolutely love it. But the comic book is gold. I know a lot of people think it's convoluted. I do understand that sentiment, and I really do get it. I think it's because it started out smaller and ended up being bigger. But combining Scott Snyder and then the side stuff like Speed Metal with Joshua Williamson and bringing all this big talent in to write this story made it amazing. And I honestly cannot wait till the last one to see how things turn out and give us an idea of what we're going to go into with Future State. So, number 2. Now, a lot of you may not expect this one from me, at least. I think this is a must-read for any comic book reader. And this is The Department of Truth by James Tynion and Martin Simmons. This is up to number 4. I just finished number 4 a couple nights ago. And, wow. Like, I don't even know what to say. This is a very weird style book. It is very political, but so done correctly. We have James Tynion combining with this weird art style that is pretty amazing art, and it fits. And you get to learn the secrets that the government doesn't want you to know, like Flat Earth. We discover stuff about that. You discover stuff about Oswald, Lee Harvey Oswald still being alive. All of these things are amazing. Right now we're trying to figure out just exactly what's going on with Obama, because he was in this book. Obviously, he was born in a different country, and then they transferred him to Hawaii. He was picked as president. You have to read this book. It is, it was almost number 1. But because I'm such a Batman fan, I couldn't. But it's so good. It's so good. And I know a lot of people really enjoy Something's Killing the Children. And I'm actually going to pick that up because this was so good. So, number 1. This is a story that has been so good, and this is just number 5 by James Tynion on here. So we have Batman Ghost Stories, which includes Batman 101 through 105, Batman Annual number 5, and stories from Detective Comics 1027. This is, again, Tynion and Jorge Jimenez. Beautifully done. This character was introduced that has known Bruce forever. Not to mention the outfit or the costume they have him in is so, love it. But it was introduced, and he was, kind of different than Batman. He was gonna kill, and that's the way he wants the same outcome as Batman, but in a different way. He wants to kill, and Batman doesn't. Well, long story short, we get, and I reviewed 105. We get this beautifully done story, the best Batman comic I've read in years, Batman 105. And it is, well, for me, how many times am I going to say I cried in this video? An amazing story with Clown Hunter, and then Harley Quinn, and Clown Hunter learning forgiveness, and then Batman and Ghostmaker, and then them two, which I didn't expect, actually teaming up. I mean, I absolutely love it. These are, every single one of these, I would say, is a must-buy, but Department of Truth, Ghost Stories, Death Metal, and Victor and Nora have been some of the books that I have absolutely, I was going to say I cried to all of them, but no, I did not. I absolutely would suggest to anybody, even if you're not a comic book reader. I was blown away by these things. So let me know, of course, in the comments below what your top picks are. I definitely want to know if I'm missing something. I definitely want to be able to check it out. I know I'm going to start reading Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. I've heard that's very good, and it was a title I skipped. Also, Last God by Philip Kennedy Johnson, I want to check out. And another one I want to check out is Something is Killing the Children. So I know what I'll be reading the next week. Let me know, of course, what you guys think. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon and subscribe stars. You guys literally make this channel possible. Huge thank you to Cage the Mick, Robert Mick Twiz, Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris Z, David L, David Raffert, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Mighty Paws, Mike Buckner, Maizen Barbosa, Ruskart, Ryan Decker, Robert Hoffman, and Doc Holliday. You guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget on the way out to like as always if you enjoy the content and hit subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.